Are you concerned about all this corruption being misgendered as conspiracies? Well, don't you worry. Sit back, relax, and join in the conversation as we talk with today's guest. Welcome to another LSB Film Productions podcast with your host, Chris Brooks.
Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm joined with John Gilbert. Now, John Gilbert is the co-founder, the brains behind the Community Assembly of the British Isles, or CABI for short. I'm sure you would have seen their little promo video on the start of some of my podcasts in the last couple of months. We're here to talk about CABI and what they're here to do and why they're doing it, and yeah, interesting conversation. So first of all, welcome to the show, John.
Thanks very much. I'm not too sure about the brains behind all of this, mind.
Okay, well, I just thought I'd big you up. I'll leave it up to you to knock yourself down.
Somebody needs to. Yeah.
So yeah, how did this all begin then?
5-year struggle.
5
long years, unfortunately. That we sort of started to get into this way before before COVID came out. But at that time, we were up against the big pharma.
Right. Okay.
And not to put too fine a point on it, it's still up against big pharma, but everybody else has jumped on the bandwagon as well. So, but this is an alternative society. We're looking to form an alternative society because the one we've got is not suiting our purpose.
Well, no, it's not. It's like you say, it's not built for our requirements anymore, is it? Well, to be fair, I'm not sure it was ever built for our requirements, but it's only now where it's really being blatantly thrust in our face that it's not for us. You know, we're just the batteries, the energy cells.
Yeah.
So you said that you're not the brainchild. Then who did come up with the CABI? Obviously, you are a huge part in this. Was it you and?
No, I don't know who it was. I got a download. Like, people call it downloads now. I've no idea, but it's. I woke up one morning with the whole idea in my head, and I've no idea where it came from.
Oh, okay. So almost like a spiritual aspect, a spiritual download.
Yes, and I didn't know what to make of it at first. I didn't get all the message. When I first started this up, I made a hash of the whole thing. I set it up wrongly, and we were attacked big time about 3 years ago now. And it literally almost took the whole organization apart.
Attacked by who?
Attacked by the media, attacked
Okay.
by certain organisations who were coming around disrupting our meetings and things like this. So there was a lot of it happened within about 3 months, a time period of about 3 months, and it really hit us hard. So the people that we had in at the time didn't stay with us, and we had to start all over again. So we're nearly back to where we were before, but it's 3 years worth of hard work, and we've had to set it up in a completely different way so that it's very much more difficult to attack us now. We've still lost 1 or 2 assemblies where they've individually gone in and attacked those assemblies. But those assemblies have got the chance to reform and regroup and come back again. So now, I don't know what's happened, to be honest with you. We seem to be getting very, very little problems now. And it may be because we've got such a presence.
Well, one would like to hope that, that you would go so far and then things would swing around because, like you say, the whole point of CABI really is, like I said to Nick, it's almost like a union, isn't it? You're acting like as a union would for employees. You're making your one voice behind a wall of many. So you're amplifying your voice. So it kind of stands to reason that if the more people that you're now getting on board, that things are going to maybe find their feet and things are going to get a little bit easier now because what your objective is essentially working. So that's a positive way to look at it, because normally it's when you're getting attacked is when you know that you're kind of on point, isn't it? In with what I do, it's me being censored. Yeah, I know. Okay, well, I've obviously hit a nerve there, so I know that that's kind of probably hovering over the target. But in your case, what you're doing, I imagine it could be because you are growing and your presence is becoming a somewhat more noticeable. So that's good.
Yeah, some of the stuff we've done recently, because we started off in Cornwall, we've got bigger in Cornwall a lot faster than we have anywhere else. And Cornwall being a separate country anyway, we
Yeah,
have
I'm
more
glad
to
you
do.
said that. I'm glad you mentioned it. I was going to bring that up. For those who aren't aware, can you just explain to people what you mean by Cornwall is actually a separate country?
It's exactly that. Cornwall has never been part of England or any other country. Cornwall is a separate country. They tried to hide it. They've been calling, the BBC are the worst. Um, they'll introduce Warwickshire, or they'll introduce Cambridgeshire, and then they'll introduce the county of Cornwall,
Mm.
and they put big emphasis on that, and they keep pushing it in front of people that Cornwall is a county, and it's not. It's not a duchy either, because the Duke of Cornwall has no rights in Cornwall. Cornwall is actually a separate country. It has had its own parliament. In fact, it still has its own parliament. It's never been stopped. It did have its own courts, but courts were given over to the judicial system of England, and we've had to reconstitute, if you like, those courts in the
Mm.
sui juris fashion, which is where people come and stand in their own right. So if you've got two people in dispute, they come in and put their dispute in front of a jury.
Right, yeah.
So they do it themselves. There's no lawyers or solicitors or anything like this involved in sui juris courts. There's no judge either. The whole court is actually run by the jury.
Right,
Uh,
okay.
it's not a 12-man jury, it's a 13-man jury. This 13-man jury can make law.
Mm.
So a 13-man jury or up to 22-man jury. And for those ladies who say that I'm not mentioning women here, man as in the family of man.
Human.
Not even that,
No?
mankind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's something that's been difficult to do. We had to get 300 members standing shoulder to shoulder. In that, I mean, they had to be signed up to be in agreement. And for that, we had to use the community assemblies in order to do that. So the two came together quite nicely. So we got our 300 now. We're going to put it in front of the Stanley Parliament now, so that we can have the courts reinstated, and everything is worked out. We've got international agreements on the court systems themselves. So we're basically up and running. I've just got to put it before the 24 senators now. But if you look at the grant of pardon in 1508, it lays it out pretty succinctly that the whole of Cornwall, any legislation coming from Westminster has to be put before the 24 senators of the Stanley Parliament in order to become lawful in Cornwall. It's not been done.
No.
Since 1753, no legislation has been put before senators.
Mm.
So there's an awful lot of legislation out there that has no it's not, how can I put this? Oh, okay, there's no other way to put it. Okay, it's not legal in Cornwall.
Right, okay. It's not, yeah.
I mean, it's not legal anywhere. If you think about it, because who actually consented to being under legislation?
That's right. I mean, we should all only go by natural law.
Mhm.
I mean, because I mean, people go on about common law, but common law, we do use common law. Common law is in courts already.
Yes.
It's natural law that we need, isn't it? Simply just natural law.
Common law actually means law which is common to all.
Mm.
It's not. It's not any particular type of law itself. Um, and yes, it's heavily used by the judiciary, in the English judiciary, the Scottish, Welsh. It's all in there. But you're talking about the normal system. So when people say, "Oh, we've got to use common law," well, hold on a minute, you're actually in common law.
Mm.
Uh, yes, we've got to use it to get out of the system. Did you get into the system in the first place? I can't remember being in the system. So this is all down to choice. People have to choose, and that's what we're trying to do with the community assemblies. People have a choice. Nobody rules the community assemblies. It's the members. It's an upside down triangle, and we've got the members themselves. If there's anything that I haven't had permission to do before, I have to go back to the members and ask for permission to do it.
Mm.
Then I've got a precedent, in which case then I can take similar situations after that. But the members rule. The facilitators, which are the people that get the meetings organised and things like this, they're servants of the members. The regional facilitators, which when it goes, let's say, to getting the peace constables organised and training organised, things like this, which would, health services and this sort of thing, go to the regional assemblies. They're the servants of other people. Then you get down to you just keep going down until you get to people like myself, and we're lower than a pig's belly. We can't do anything without going back to the membership unless we've had clear instruction that we can do it from previous voting.
So effectively, you run like a council should.
Yes, yeah. It's civil servants, I think, is the expression for people that we're looking for, and they're not civil and they're not servants anymore.
No, definitely not.
I was a civil servant for 14 years. I never got anything changed.
In what capacity?
Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. No.
We were actually brought in as managers to change everything, to make it so that it was less rigid. And I think in the 14 years that I was in there and trying to do something, it became more rigid.
Mm.
Have you ever seen the program, Yes, Minister?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty much bang on, isn't it, really?
The MPs don't run anything.
No, of course not. They're just the little glove puppets.
Yes.
No. No, I used to enjoy that. Reruns, obviously. But no, yeah, very good.
Yeah. I saw the original series, so
yeah, I'm rerun. So how many assemblies have you got scattered across the British Isles at the moment then?
Not very many. We've got 89 at the moment, 2 more forming, so it'll take us up to 91.
And is that predominantly evenly spread across the country, or is that?
No, it's not. There's some areas of the country that have got absolutely nothing at all. Other areas of the country that are coming on quite nicely. Cornwall has 25 assemblies now. We've got 2 more forming down in Cornwall. So we're hoping to get to 30 by the end of the year. I don't know whether we're going to make it or not, but we get close whatever happens. And the rest are sort of spread around, but it's getting people used to the idea that you physically form an assembly. You meet physically, discuss ideas physically. This thing about going online and doing it online you get people dominating. So you might have 200 members in this one little room online, and 4 or 5 will dominate the whole thing.
It becomes an echo chamber as well.
That's right, yeah. So, oh well, yes. I mean, they're still talking about the same thing now as they were 4 years ago. They've not moved on. We have moved on. We've got we've got a health service, rudimentary at the moment, but it's a health service. We have a rudimentary community peace service, which will work with the courts so that we've got our own constables. But it takes a long time to train a constable. Anybody who reaches constable has probably gone through about 12 months of training. It's not easy to do. We work with the Mark Horn's peacekeepers, so that our constables and our community peacekeepers actually do the peacekeeper training online. We're trying to put all the elements of a community into one thing, and then allow the members themselves to actually control it. Control it at the local level. Because
bottom up.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I want here in Bugle. What does somebody else want in St Austell? It might be slightly different.
How do these things? I mean, I am a bit thick, so please do excuse me.
So there's two of us.
But how would this run side by side with the beast system? How?
Not very well.
So how does like the CABI protect you? Also, how does the CABI protect you from the beast system if people like go right, all join CABI? How does it work? How does it?
Okay, everybody who joins CABI has to learn that they've not consented to what you're calling the beast system. We call them the Bash Street kids.
Okay.
If you've ever seen a picture of the Bash Street kids from Rubino, you'll see why we call them the Bash Street. None of the people within the community assemblies have consented to the legislation which is being handed out in the first place. But because we've got our own constables, if anyone steps out of line, then our constables don their uniforms, because we are uniformed, and we go down and have a chat with the local police. It's amicable. There's no animosity between the two, but it's a matter of making sure that both sides understand what the situation is. That's how we do it. Because we're under natural law, we can commit no fraud. If there is fraud going on, we can't be part of it.
No.
Because we would be committing fraud ourselves. But again, we leave that up to the conscience of the individual members. We're not saying they've got to do it. We're saying that it's something they should think about.
Definitely.
But the sheer numbers now are beginning to tell. And what people should be doing in their regions, and we want to slowly integrate the regions. Cornwall wants to join with Devon and Somerset. We would do it with Dorset as well if we could, and that would become Kernow, which is the old Cornwall as it was before it was pushed back over the Tamar. And we all want to do it, but we've got to get the numbers up in order to be able to do it fully.
Yeah. Well, I know Thetford is becoming an assembly.
They are an assembly now.
Yeah.
And
then it's making it like, so you've got Thetford, but then you want it like Norfolk, don't you? And then you're going to want East Anglia, so then you can incorporate.
No, that's what I'm saying is to go straight to East Anglia.
Right, so you're saying forget step 1 and step 2, go straight to step 3.
Yes, because it will take if you set up your Cornwall one, like we've set up Kernow for Cornwall, then we've got to change away from Kernow in Cornwall to Cornwall, and then we're going to have to bring back and get people to take up Kernow, which means we're going to have one from each region. Might as well have gone straight there in the first place and just done it that way, but this is a learning curve. And I think East Anglia should actually do it that way, and I think there may be enough support. We're going to have to put it to the vote.
Well, I mean, the way I'm looking at it is most of us in the circles that I know, we kind of all originated from Stand in the Park. And Stand in the Park is in every single city in the UK pretty much, isn't it? It's fairly widespread.
Yes.
So it only takes 3 people from each of those groups to then form this big, like you say, the East Anglian.
Yeah.
Because it obviously can't all be run from Thetford to cover all of East Anglia. So the only way that you're likely to find people who are into this kind of thing and open-minded to understand and learn about it would be Stand in the Parkers.
Yeah, we're looking for people spread out. The Cornwall Assembly we've got now is coming from lots of parts of Cornwall. Kernow is going to be coming from individual people in each region. So we're making sure that one part doesn't dominate. It's difficult to do. One of the problems we do have with people saying, I don't want to be a facilitator, I just want to be a member. This expression, grow a pair and man up, because it means nothing to become a facilitator. It just means to say that you want to serve mankind. So you're not stepping up to be a leader. You're stepping up to make sure that things run smoothly by serving the members themselves. So you're not stepping up, you're stepping down. You're becoming a servant to the people. And people don't quite at the moment, I must have to do something. No, you don't have to do anything other than make sure things actually happen. So you're taking up to the point of the meetings. You're hiring a hall or something like this, and that's about it. But you're not leading anybody because we don't have any leaders.
No.
Or I'm not. Never been the leader type. I would rather be sitting in a back room somewhere, not standing here in front of other people or standing up in front of other people.
See, that's my biggest. That is my biggest thing. I'm only still getting used to this, what I do now in front of a camera. To do that in front of a room full of people talking, the waffling that would come out of my mouth would be untrue. I'm happy to share this way, and I could probably reach more people this way, to be fair, than I probably could in a room anyway. But no, I can understand why people are a little bit, but like you say, people need to grow a pair. We're not going to get out of this tyranny by sitting on our hands.
Anybody who's seen me up on stage will know that I burst into tears quite often, and it's really embarrassing.
Oh, do you? Quite an emotional.
It becomes very emotional because I'm fairly reasonable empath. I feel all this emotion coming towards me as I start to speak, and it just hits you like a wall, and you can't do anything about it. Mark Horn rescued me one day, where I just absolutely sobbing there, and he just come up and put his arms around me and calm me down. But this is something you've just got to get used to. There's no shame in it.
No, absolutely not.
Well,
it's that raw feed, it's that raw emotion that drives you on.
It is, yes.
So you need that.
It keeps me going. Sometimes it keeps me going for 2 or 3 days without sleep. I just have to keep going. There's no martyrdom in this lot. I know I've been pushed into doing this, and I just have to get it done. But there are other people out there that know as well. You probably know yourself, otherwise you wouldn't have been in that position, and you wouldn't have put yourself there.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, listen, I've very much enjoyed this conversation. Have you got any final message for anyone who's wanting to sign up to CABI or find out more about CABI?
The coming together is happening. We all know that the coming together is happening. and we've now linked up with the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and there's a lot of synchronicity there as well. We've got New Zealand, the Assemblies in New Zealand, People's Assemblies in New Zealand. The recent one to join us was Malta. We're talking to South Africa on Thursday. So this is all starting to come together now, and we're finding each other. So
it's becoming bigger than the British Isles. It's becoming.
We've got the Assemblies.
Continent.
Yeah. That's we had to do that because there were so many people coming into it. New Jersey. There's places all around now that are setting up their community assemblies. So it's part of a big movement. We recently had the People's Assemblies in the British Isles who inserted themselves into the community assemblies, became facilitators within the community assemblies, got their groups together, and have increased quite a bit our numbers within the community assemblies. So it is all happening there, but it's just a matter of people realizing that they need to start forming up and meeting people face to face. And yes, you're absolutely right with the stand in the park, because they are used to meeting face to face. They want to get there and have a chin wag. So it's if you want to get involved, you don't have to. If you want to start a community assembly or be a facilitator, then just put down that you want to start a community assembly, and we'll work out the rest after that. But the more facilitators we've got, the more community assemblies we can have. We've got some area or some local areas that we're talking about 20, 30 members, but no facilitators, so we can't form a group. Without those facilitators, we've got no way of communicating backwards and forwards in a responsible way. So we do need facilitators when they're joining up. But just get in there and do it. And it's www. I presume you're going to put this in anyway.
I'll put the link in the video description. That's not a problem. Yeah.
www.ca-britishisles.com, and even if you're in another country, you can actually join through that, and we will put you in touch with whoever it is in the other countries. So we act as a clearinghouse as well.
That's really good. Well, it sounds like you're doing marvelous things. It sounds like it's becoming very successful, which is huge, which is really, really positive. So carry on what you're doing. I wish you all the very best. And listen, all you stand in the parkers, come on, click the link, join, become a facilitator, and let's help grow this. What would you call it? I don't want to say machine, because that sounds
quiet revolution.
Yes, there you go. You've heard it from John. So with that, I hope everyone who's watched this has enjoyed themselves. Please click on that link and please help us to become better. All right, but until next time, take care. All the best. Bye.